And that means it's time for your weekly dose of sports coverage and commentary coming to you here from the Frat House, Mike and Sidekick. And we've got our usual menu of servings here on the last day of May. Sidekick, we got racing, we got a little bit of baseball. Hey, and we got the final days of the NHL and NBA playoffs. Sure. But as we did for baseball, we're not counting down the days to the start of the football season. And with this being the last day of May, we're down to 97 days before that season opener on September 5th.
Oh, no!
Oh, yes!
Yes,
what are you talking about? Hey, and that's going to be what? That's the Giants and it's the Cowboys, I believe. I think that's what it is. Let's not forget, though, there's a lot of sports out there to be played before we even get to that point, starting with this past weekend. Memorial Day weekend, racing weekend, and in fact, a lot of times this is referred to as America's Racing Weekend, starting off with the 96th running of the Indianapolis 500. What an exciting, I mean, it was an exciting, fast race, and it certainly had its share of at least one breathtaking, I mean, really, truly breathtaking, wicked-looking wreck between Mike Conway and Indy points leader Will Power on in lap 80. Conway was apparently on the track with a broken wing that he had sustained during the pit stop in lap 77. When suddenly his vehicle kind of spun out of control, and before you knew it, he was airborne over the wall, ultimately taking Power out of the race completely. In the end, Dario Franchetti took the checkered, but not before a last lap battle amongst Takuma Sato and teammate Scott Dixon. Sato looked pretty convincing coming down there in that last lap.
Yep,
I'll tell you.
He hit that white line.
Yep.
Everybody to hit that white
He
line.
got a little bit too aggressive in that attempt passing Franchetti,
Yep.
you know, coming in there in turn one, which ultimately had Sato spinning out and taking the wall. In the end, Franchetti, Dixon, and Tony Kanaan took 1, 2, 3. Great race. It really was. And fast.
Yeah, I thought Kanaan was going to win.
We weren't done, though, with racing yet on Sunday. I mean, it just started early morning, and it seemed like it went until almost very late at night. Because out there at Charlotte Motor Speedway, we had 43 stock cars who were rocking and rolling over that 53-year-old mile-and-a-half oval in the longest race of the year, which took 3 hours and 51 minutes. Now, that was a bit shorter. Probably helped along by the fact that there were really only 5 cautions and no major wrecks.
Right.
In the end, Kasy Kahne persevered in what some have kind of called a kind of a monotonous, kind of painful sort of race to watch. I was okay with it. It didn't.
Hey, he picked up his first win of the season, his first win under Hendrick Motorsports.
So, others who came in the top 5 at Charlotte this past weekend. Denny Hamlin came in second for his 6th top 5 in 12 races. Kyle Busch keeps getting closer. Closer and closer every week. He took 3rd this week. Greg Biffle back in the top 5 again.
There you go.
All right.
Told you.
Back in the top 5 with his 7th top 5 win out of 12. Brad Keselowski came in 5th. And so, question is, did our top 5 Sprint Cup leaderboard change at all? No, not much. A little bit, very mildly. Greg Biffle, yes, still at the top. Number 1 spot, 453 points. There's Matt Kenseth. He's just 10 points behind him at 443. Denny Hamlin and Dale Jr. swap places this week. Denny 437, Dale 435, and Jimmie Johnson's holding on to that 5th spot with 405 points. Sunday, NASCAR moves over to the Monster Mile, which is Dover International Speedway, 12:30 on Fox. You check it out. We're going to be tracking it, though, on our mobile devices, as we're going to be out at Englishtown. In fact, the Frat House, all of us here at the Frat House will be out at Englishtown, New Jersey, for the NHRA Finals of the Toyota Super Nationals. And we're going to bring you back some pictures from that next week. So.
Yep.
All right, that's our auto sports. So you got some fantasy stuff.
I got some fantasy
stuff.
stuff.
Touch on
For Dover this weekend,
Yeah.
for all of our fantasy folks out there, and for Mike as well. 3 names to watch this week. Matt Kenseth. He's got 9 top 5s in the last 12 races at Dover.
Wow.
Carl Edwards. He's got 10 top 10s out of the last
Yes.
12 races. And Jimmie Johnson as well. Those are going to be 3 names you're going to want to keep an eye out for. You know, see how they do in practice and
Qualifying
stuff,
and what have you, right.
see if you got some budget cap space to put them on your team.
You got it. All right. From America's Racing Weekend to how about America's Pastime? Let's jump over to baseball. And we'll kick it off with our improbables for this week. Week 8.
Yep.
We're already in week 8 of Major League Baseball. This one kind of came as a shock to me. I don't know. The other day, You know, if you're looking for relief from a lefty, normally you go to your bullpen. Except in the San Diego Padres case.
Yep.
That financially strapped team, they go to Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson apparently has expressed some interest in being part owner of the San Diego Padres. And so, I say, well, I guess why not? I mean, we got Magic Johnson over there with the Dodgers. He's taking his proposed role, though, with this quite seriously. He's looking at becoming part of a group that includes the grandchildren of Walter O'Malley. Now, who's he? Well, ironically, exactly the former owner of the Dodgers.
Yeah.
It's reported that Mickelson is prepared to, quote-unquote, give a lot of money for a team that he has always loved. Quote, growing up, the Padres were my team and still are. Mickelson said, I'm looking to get personal involvement with the players and the community. I want to create an emotional tie between the two. So, interesting. I didn't think that Mickelson was that well heeled, but
there, another improbable though is former lefty Tony Gwynn.
Yeah,
is jumped into the fray.
Another group.
And he's joined another group,
different group that's
to buy the Padres.
Yep.
So
it looks like the Padres are moving in this kind of the same direction as the Dodgers did about a year ago. So we'll keep tabs on that one and see where it goes, whether it goes to one lefty or the other. But it's going to a lefty, it sounds like it.
Yep.
A couple of weeks ago, I had reported here that 40-year-old Manny Ramirez would be starting with the Oakland A's after a short stint with their AAA Sacramento team. Well, not unexpectedly to me, anyhow, that kind of got hung up a little bit. A's management have decided to leave Ramirez down in the minors at the Sacramento Rivercats. A's assistant general manager didn't mince words. He said the decision to leave Ramirez where he is, quote, strictly performance-based, and said they would bring him up just as, quote, he is ready to contribute as at the major league level. I'd say Manny got told.
don't wait too long there, Manny, because happy 40th. Yeah, he just hit 40 this week.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Well, yeah. We'll see how much about Manny. Some would say that Cincinnati Reds third baseman Todd Frazier has played hero on the field before. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, he hit himself a walk-off, two-run home run off of the Atlanta Braves, giving the Reds a 2-1 win over those Braves. So, a lot of people are like, hey, that's a hero, right? Hey, the other night, Frazier played hero for real. He was out dining with teammate Ryan Ludwig when he spotted an adjacent diner who appeared to be choking. There were two women with the gentleman who were unsuccessfully attempting the Heimlich maneuver. So Frazier jumped to his feet and went to the man's aid. After 2 attempts, Frazier dislodged the undigested food. And in true hero kind of genre, Frazier described the experience as surreal. And, quote, I have never done that before in my life. Further, interestingly enough, Frazier never got the man's name, and the gentleman never knew Frazier was a Major League Baseball player. New technologies. You know, I got this new iPhone. I gotta get used to it. You know, I always find that the learning curve. Well, okay, it's a smartphone. All right. With anything new, you gotta kind of get used to it. You know, and that's the learning curve. As you get used to it, you learn things. And that's the only excuse I can think of for the Miami Marlins. Miami Marlins, they got that brand new stadium down there, you know, it was built to their specifications. And so what did they do? When they had the stadium built, they put this retractable roof on it, all right? And the retractable roof was put there to, for the unexpected downpours that they get in the summertime, all right? They had one of those circumstances just the other night. Here comes one of those. But nobody ever closed the roof. Instead, the grounds crew must have had like a brain cramp because the rain started and they just automatically ran for the tarps. Got the tarps, covered the entire field, and they waited out the delay. As the game resumed later, stadium management decided then to close the roofs over what was, at the time then, a glorious blue.
There seemed to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
Well, you might say that. Later on, the stadium management, they said they simply forgot that they had the option to close the roof.
Oops, I goofed.
Learning curve. You know, the Milwaukee Brewers, they've got themselves a pretty good catcher over there. Jonathan LaCroix.
Yeah.
He's had a heck of a season start. Now, we highlighted him a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the Brewers. To be a good catcher, got to have good hands, yes?
Yeah,
I would think so.
absolutely.
I would think the Brewers would prefer that LaCroix would, take care of the hands a little better in the future. Maybe, perhaps have better hands.
Stick to baseballs?
Yeah, well, see, he ended up on the 15-day disabled list right now. After it was diagnosed, he had a fractured hand. Now, that fractured hand, you would think maybe hit by pitch. Maybe he was caught in a rundown at home plate.
Punched the wall, got mad.
Oh, maybe. Hit a fire hydrant? Or a fire extinguisher? Nope. Instead, LaCroix suffered the injury the other evening in his hotel when he was reaching under the bed for an errant sock. At the very moment that he was reaching for the sock, his wife apparently readjusted the suitcase, which toppled down and crashed onto the floor, onto his hand. Fractured his hand.
Boxer fracture.
That's yeah, exactly. That's what it's called.
Yep.
And that's an automatic. I don't think that's an automatic for DL, is it?
Yeah. And you know,
How do you explain that to the guys in the locker?
My goodness, what a fuss you're making!
kind of the shame of it is, though, I was reading some follow-up articles. That story is, all the hate mail that his wife has received from fans because she dropped the suitcase on his hand.
She should have been messing around.
It's a shame.
All right, and there's our improbables.
I've got a couple.
Yeah.
I got a couple. Our good friend Jimmie Moyer.
Jimmie Moyer over there at the Colorado Rockies. Yeah.
Having one hell of a season, Jimmie Moyer.
Was, yeah.
I mean, he's 49, oldest pitcher, hit a home run.
He was the ace of their staff.
Through the pitch that guy hit the bill.
That's right.
The scoreboard in Miami
That's
with.
right.
Well, it appears the Rockies have tired of his sideshow and have designated him on for assignment. So they've got 10 days to trade him or release him. So Jamie will be available here shortly. And either the Phillies, who may need some pitching help, or even my Cardinals, who have just imploded with their pitching, may be looking at Jimmie Moyer now. So, and then in our final improbables, this is really just kind of funny. The Oakland A's for Father's Day decided that they're going to give away a special prize to the fans. And for those in attendance, you're going to get, do you remember Chia Pets?
Yes, I do.
They're giving away Cocoa Crisp Chia Pets. So I'll let you just kind of soak that one in for a second. Remember those?
Some people without brains do an awful lot of talking.
Three chance we can get tickets for that?
Yeah. Do you remember the song?
Chia Pets. I let my daughter know that she can get me tickets for that Father's Day. Thank you. Alright, so listen, there's our improbables. Where do our leagues stand at this point? There have been a couple of minor changes in the lineup this week. AL, and the AL, the Orioles are still at the top of the East.
Yep.
But now, over in the Central, you've got the Chicago White Sox, who have won 8 straight and are 9-1 in their last 10. They overcame the Cleveland Indians to take over the Central.
Yep.
Texas Rangers still have the best record in the AL, continue to lead the West. In the National League, Washington Nationals.
Yep.
More and more, they're a serious team. Back in the lead in the East.
And I saw Miami second.
Yes.
Behind the Nationals.
Yes.
Pop up there. Wow.
And the Phils have played better recently, so we'll see where it is. Right now, between the Nationals and the Phils in the basement, 3 games separating the entire division. That's it. The Cincinnati Reds have taken over out there in the Central. Took over from the St. Louis Cardinals with they are 7-3. That's on the way to that. 7-3 in their last 10, and they've taken control of the Central. And the Dodgers continue to have the best record, not just in the NL, but in all of Major League Baseball. They continue to dominate the West.
Yeah, how about that?
And there's our baseball news for this week. Let's go over and take a look at the NBA playoffs. It's getting good now.
It's getting good.
We can count down the days now to the finals.
We're in the conference finals.
Yeah, you got a good matchup there going in the West.
Yes. We've got the San Antonio Spurs, virtually undefeatable.
Yes.
20-0.
20-0 in their last.
versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. San Antonio, of course, is leading the series 2-0. They're playing tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern time.
And frankly, I think the San Antonio Spurs have the possibility. They are very seriously, they could take this series 4 games to nothing.
No.
I think it's very possible. In the East.
And then in the East, we've got the, trying to buy a championship Miami Heat versus the Boston Celtics. And due to poor officiating, the Miami Heat are up 2-0. This series, we talked about it before, should really be,
probably
1-1.
Probably 1-1.
But, due to some really bad officiating last night in overtime. But, for all those folks out there that keep saying, put the ball in LeBron's hands, well, they put the ball in LeBron's hands last night, and he put up a brick to send that game into overtime at the end of regulation. Yep. So, you might want to have him keep passing the ball around.
Yeah, pass it, LeBron.
And they're playing Game 3 tomorrow night at 8:30.
Yep. We got the NHL playoffs, and where are we at this point? Hey, we are in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yep.
And at this point, the way I see it, we are anywhere from 3 to 6 games away from getting our annual springtime glimpse of the Stanley Cup. As we have our number 8 seed from the West, the LA Kings, going up against that number 6 seed New Jersey Devils from the East. And there are the Kings taking a 1-0 lead already, beating the Jersey Devils on Jersey ice. They haven't lost a game on the road. Interestingly, too, to me, the Stanley Cup Finals, no number 1 through number 4 seeds left in any of this. None. Amazing when you think about it.
And just a little bit about the Kings. They're the first team to win their first 9 road games in the postseason.
First game in the NHL history.
Yes.
Wow.
First. And if they win, they'll break a tiebreaker if they win the next game, which is on Saturday at 8 p.m.
It just keeps even to roll. We'll see where it goes. That's our sports for this week. But before we go, what we want to do is just mention our Frat House Facebook post of the week, which comes on the heels of one of the more concerning issues that I have been bringing up, maybe perhaps not as much here on the show, but privately. The other day I posted an article that was describing some of the concerns parents of younger athletes are expressing right now over the whole concussion issues revolving around football. And the article insinuated that that numerous communities might expect to see a diminishment in the number of registrants to Little League programs, which has been one of my grave concerns for the future of the sport. And so I posted the article, and I posted it with the comment, ladies and gentlemen, alas, my predictions beginning to come to pass. To that, our Facebook friend Ken, who also happens to be a high school friend of mine, we graduated from high school together, and he's founder and chairman of the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame, responded back to us, between my 2 boys, they played 12 total seasons of youth football. There were 2 minor concussions. Both came on the basketball court. I hope everybody got Ken's point there. Great comment, Ken. Yep. And I know you got into it with him a little bit.
I sure did. And to which I replied, well, then I think we need to start suiting up our basketball players in helmets.
Basketball players.
How'd you like to see LeBron going down with that helmet on?
Yeah. Be another reason for why you can't hit that last second.
But after that, Ken and I did actually get into a serious conversation about it. So, good stuff. So, great stuff, folks. Keep them coming. We've had tremendous response on the Facebook page, and I appreciate it. So, keep them coming all this week. And that's our show. That's it. You know what you got to do? You got to keep us real. You got to keep us live. You got to keep us going. See you next week.
Everybody standing, listen to the crowd. White flag is out. Dario Franchetti takes the defensive line into one. Sato taking a peek. Inside. Keep going. Keep going, buddy. Yellow. The yellow is out.
Should have waited till coming out of 2. We talked about that.
We talked about his patience. And for the 3rd time in his career, Dario Franchetti is going to win the 500, and all 3 times it's going to be under caution.
This is a race where you cannot make a mistake. That was very hard. Sato was close, but I think he got on that white line again.
He did.
Tony Kanaan is going to finish third. Remember, results are not official. We'll get word from IndyCar. But right now, here they come down the front straightaway. And Dario Franchetti is going to join an elite group as he is going to become a 3-time winner at Indianapolis.
What a race.